pass the microphone, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, fellow members of the committee, invited guests, my fellow Idahoans. My name is Matthew K. Jensen, lifelong Republican and lifelong Idahoan. I find this a strange and exciting situation to be in. I feel it is always a good thing when a bunch of the state parties gather together, kind of like a family reunion of sorts. The thing is, I wish there was before you a more positive reason. Sadly, I'm here to beg and plead for something. A lot of issue has been made over how the state party gets funded, state party dues, and issues with non-payment. These issues are going to rip the party apart, and I am not exaggerating there. They're going to rip the party apart if we don't do something about it soon. There's a rather malignant cancer that is spreading on the subject, and if we don't administer the chemo soon, it will be too late. There needs to be a stick that goes along with the carrot of a convention. That's what this boils down to. Now, we can, of course, have a discussion on how much those dues should be, exactly how it's all spread out, and things of that nature. That is not this issue. And I'll repeat to those who have been playing fast and loose with the truth, that is not this issue. I've been raising those very concerns for about 7 years now. I do hope that we get those things sorted out soon. The change that we seek to make is actually pretty simple. Instead of having the stick part of Article 19 that came from the last winter meeting, we should have a rule in that prevents a county from selecting delegates if they don't pay their full dues, or have a good reason for not doing so. That last part is rather important out of all of this. There are counties in the Gem State that for one reason or another are unable to pay any dues. They should go, but they should be also able to articulate the reasons for non-payment. We also have counties that, despite being well able to pay full dues, are not paying. Now, the original version of this went a bit over my allotted five minutes because I tried addressing in full all of the myths and concerns about this change, so I'll try to speed run, and you can ask questions if you want. The first myth is about the SCC being unable to make a change of this kind. Yes, the State Central Committee can absolutely do this. In fact, they are the only ones who can. I can cite rules there. The second concern is another myth that this change is illegal. In the original version, there was something around 3 minutes of how wrong that actually is. There are several rabbit holes to trip on. I've got a whole thick folder of it. There's several rabbit holes to trip on, and it's directly refuted by 3 parts of the Idaho Code and some indirect rulings in the courts. It's actually pretty clear, and the legislative history is interesting. So if anyone has any ideas about bringing this before a judge, while I am not a lawyer, be advised that they don't like changing course, and you're unlikely to have anything that will rise to the level of what they call a state compelling interest to change their mind. An adjunct theory to the legality myth is a strange interpretation of the rules that says a county must select delegates. This is a weak argument, but that won't go anywhere, because even the most previous section of that theory, quotes, tells you how wrong it is. Another bit of concern I heard about this was before getting here that this is particularly targeted towards a certain county. In case it is unclear, I'm also from that county. Ada County is my home. I was born in Boise. I have lived 37 out of my 38 years in Boise, and I will likely die there. I'm very well aware that this could eliminate me from a convention sooner rather than later. It's a bit of an engineer and a guillotine sort of thing, if you get the reference. However, I can tell you this much. Failure to pay state dues in full will never be my fault. There's a rather simple remedy available in this change to such a county. That remedy is pay your bills. There's nothing about this rule change that prevents a county from paying their dues. And I'll add here that the powers that be should not have to wait for such a strong rebuke on that. And I hope it's fairly obvious by now that I could go on and on and on about this. But really, the choice to advance this is yours. Please put a stick with the carrot. Please, beg of you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Benson. All right. Moving on to the question. Rule 1023-16 as presented. Vote on whether or not to accept it. Ready? All those in favor say aye. Opposed, say nay. And let's do a show of hands on this one, please. All those ayes, raise your hand, please. And nays, raise your